Well, it's the weekend. We talk about resurrections, and there's no bigger resurrection than Plymouth Argyle. Just when you think their obituary has been written, they surprise you once again. Welcome back to Where Pilgrims Walk. We've got Jade and Rhys and Chris. And if I'm astonished, I'm guessing you three must be just pinching yourselves. We're going to talk about that Sheffield United result. We'll also look ahead to Boro this weekend, and Coventry as well, in a double header of Easter fun. But let's start straight away with that Sheffield United result, shall we? This tweet here, I think, says it all. Which is coming on screen. Dan says it reeled me back in, having to hope again. It's just part of you, Chris, that just wants this done now, one way or another. 1 week you're up, 1 week you're down. How are you feeling this week?
I'm loving this roller coaster of a ride this season. I mean, we are such an incredible side that we can go and play so poorly against Swansea 3 days prior to Saturday. We were horrendous up there. I mean, it's probably the worst game I've seen us play all season. And I said it at the time, there's every chance we'll go out and play Sheffield United on Saturday and beat them. What happened? Went and beat them. I mean, what a performance. Got through to Chris Wilder's skin. Got through to Mike Cooper, our ex-keeper. Absolutely love it. Love it. Love getting through to these people. Bad loser, pair of them.
We'll come on to that in a second. Coming up then this week, let's run through this. We're talking about never played Tajani again, which was the last sentence I think we spoke about when we saw you a couple of weeks ago. It's all about the Easter weekend. Who's our player of the season? We're going to announce that. The guys here are going to choose the Plymouth Argyle player of the season, and we're going to talk about who should get the championship player of the season as well. Who's the best player we've seen at home park in a different shirt? But yes, Jaden, Tajani. Last time we were on here, I think we were unanimous saying the guy should never play in a Plymouth Argyle shirt again. So good job. Music's more in the know than we are, isn't it?
Well, I think the problem is we forgot what he looked like a couple of months ago. And then obviously he started playing and he didn't play very well. So, yeah, the fact that he's come out and done that on Saturday, a volley, and it's gone right in the corner as well. A load of people are saying, actually crediting how good of a goal that is. It's just such a shock to us. I can't believe it, to be honest.
When he came on, though, Rhys, he was a bully, wasn't he? He wasn't just a goal. I mean, the Sheffield United fans, we said, like, you just couldn't handle him. Where's this Tajani been, genuinely?
It's the Tajani we all assumed we had signed when he first turned up at, was it Torquay or wherever in pre-season, and you see this bloke come on the pitch and he's built like anything, and you want him to be a bully, you want him to come on. I think we had Sam Cosgrove a few years ago did a very similar sort of role for us. Just came on and bullied people around the pitch, and it just puts that fear. You got these tired defenders come on, and then you got this lad coming on who's 6'5" or whatever he is, built absolutely huge, and you just want him to bully them. That's what we've been missing all season from him.
Yeah. Chris, all's forgiven then for the mediocre of what you've seen before?
For sure. I mean, we got the guy, 6'7". He's built like Frank Bruno, but he's been playing like bloody Frank Spencer. He's been shocking on occasion, But yes, he redeemed himself Saturday with that goal, obviously. That's what we want to see more of, and hopefully if that's giving him confidence and lovely long may it last, may it continue right through the next 4 cup finals that we have.
Okay, let's have a go at some more social media takes from the game, shall we? First of all, Joe Edwards was getting lots of mentions. Jaden Tom says never bench Joe Edwards again. Talk to me about his importance in that victory.
Yeah, damn right. We're going to talk about player of the season in a minute. If it was based on the first 2.5 months, then he would be the one, wouldn't he? There's no debate around it. When we lost him in probably the end of October, we were missing something, and that obviously had a downfall in our season. I genuinely believe that we would have a lot more points if he was fit the entire season. That's had a knock-on effect, and we're in the position we're in now. And now he's back. We have to play him every game because, he is such a vital part of our team, in my opinion.
Let's have a look at some more Cheers for that, Jaden. Liam says to Johnny, change that game, Rhys. Didn't let those defenders breathe when he came on and won every duel. Never say die attitude. Second half is what we want to see for these last 4 games. Cracking second half from the players. Positive changes to be proactive and go for it. Absolutely. Get in. Almost a perfect weekend, wasn't it? Because Luton lost, Cardiff lost, Hull may lose tonight. We're recording this before the Coventry game. So I know it's the hope that kills you, but look at your 4 games and knowing how you've been playing at home, do you believe yet?
I don't know if I believe yet, but there's that sort of, the last 2 weeks, Norwich, we got dragged back in, then it all went wrong. Now we've been dragged back in again, and you just hope that we go to Middlesbrough and we stick it in Whittaker's face a little bit, and suddenly it looks very, very positive going into Coventry at home. And we've proven this season time and time again. I think we've beaten Sunderland, we've beaten Sheffield United. We can beat anyone at home. I genuinely believe we can beat anyone at home when they decide to turn up, and that's what we've now got to do. Now is 4 games, turn up, then go and have a holiday. That's all they need to do now.
Was that the best win this season, Chris, given the size of the opposition and what was on the line?
I won't say it's the best game that we've won this season. For me, that was our first away win against Portsmouth, if I'm honest, because that's something that's been a monkey on our back for all season, trying to get that first away win. So that was fantastic. But yeah, it was a great end to a good game. On Saturday, they scored a good goal. You got to take your hat off to him when the goal goes in, like he got that guy. It was a cracking goal. No one was saving that. But to come back from it, I mean, we hit the bar. Not a lot of people realise we hit the bar, so we could have gone on and made 3. But to get the 2 that we got was it was great. And certainly the attitude that their manager showed afterwards was absolutely appalling. And it was just great to get one over somebody like that.
Yeah, let's just on that. Kobe says Hazard with a crucial stop, Hardy banging again, Tajani with a 10 out of 10 cameo, Limbs, Palson outstanding, Plaguey outstanding, fans outstanding, Chris Wilder triggered. Forget the table today was just a good day. Now, our Sheffield United fans, Jaden said and agreed completely that Wilder was out of order. What did you make of that? It's a bizarre thing because your players are walking down the tunnel or towards the tunnel, celebrating in their own stadium. Yeah. They're not winding up home fans. They're not even, from what I can see from the video, not even directing anything towards the fans. He's got no right, has he, to come over and do what he did?
He's just a downright sore loser, isn't he? He's known as that as well. Sheffield fans aren't happy. We're not happy. No one's happy. The whole football world absolutely hates him now, and most of them have anyway for a while. So yeah, he is what he is. He's not going to change. So we just got to laugh at him at this point.
Okay. Our Leeds fans were saying similar things like this. Leeds fan here said, well done, Plymouth. You've done us a massive favour. Hopefully we can return it on the last day by resting our best players. And our Leeds fan earlier said he doesn't mind if they get second, just to keep Chris Wilder in the playoffs, and would happily hand Plymouth 3 points, Rhys, on that final day to keep you up as a return favour.
Well, I hope they keep that side of the bargain, to be honest. But
yeah.
I think looking at it, I think there's now 4 points, isn't there? 4 or 5 points between second and Sheffield United. So I think Chris Wilder's little, disrespectful comment, it was just before as well. It was the bottom of the league, so we're not. It almost like he wasn't taking it seriously because we're bottom of the league. Which I think anyone really knows. No matter who you're playing, you've got to take people seriously, and I think that was the problem. And he's lost 3 in a trot now, so who can be saying things like that? I think he screwed their own season up, and you never know. Then really, they're gonna struggle in the playoffs, aren't they? So it's a lottery at that point. So yeah, for me, I think Leeds probably are now Leeds and Burnley are up. So hopefully Leeds can. It's all done and dusted for the last day, and we can have our day then.
Okay, let's have a look at those final 4. Now, my one worry, Chris, here is that whilst those around you obviously are on a similar kind of points, there is a lot of teams that play each other within that group, including this Friday, of course, as Luton travel to Derby. Cardiff also have got a game against, I think, against Derby, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think you've got the worst set of fixtures probably of everybody that's down there?
I would say so, Mark. Yeah. The only good thing out of our worst set of fixtures out of everyone else, historically, we've always done well against better sides. Anyone who's up near the top, we always tend to give them a good game, whether we win or not. Quite often we have beaten better sides, especially at home. But can we do it again this season? I believe we can. It's not going to be easy, that's for sure. Coming this Friday against Middlesbrough, that's going to be a tough side. But I believe with a bit of confidence now that we can go up there and at least get a point, and then hopefully 3 against Coventry. Sets it up for Preston away. They're not up for anything at the moment, so hopefully we can do something there. Leeds, if they stick to their word and put it as an understrength side, if we're already up, I don't believe that for one moment, but you take it. And we went into the last game of the season last year and ended up staying up by 1 goal. I'll take that again now, absolutely. But yeah, we have got a strong set of fixtures, no doubt about it. But I believe we can do it.
Yeah, that Preston one worries me a little bit as well. You say they haven't got anything to play for, but they don't lose at Deepdale. They've only lost once since the turn in the season. That's Bristol City in November. All right. You'll be all at Middlesbrough then this weekend. Now, the footballing gods say that Whittaker will have an absolute stinker. Finazaz will, miss 3 penalties, and you'll go on and win this a scruffy 1-0. But unfortunately, the gods don't often get it right, Jade. And how do you see this one going? First of all, what sort of reception will Whittaker get?
Not on this one. I don't think he'll play anyway for the majority of it. So, we don't really have to bother with him. Hopefully, he comes on and misses a penalty and we win the game. But it's probably going to be 0-0, isn't it?
What do you make of Boro, Rhys? I mean, since Whittaker's joined you, their stats are appalling. And if you speak to the Boro fans, as we do, of course, across our podcast, they are not very happy with how he's performed so far.
No, they're bizarre. I'm actually quite surprised that Carrick's still there with the form they've had since January. I think most teams in the league probably would have decided for a swap. I think that there's been a disconnect between the fans and the team for a while. We went there last year and we beat them 2-0. I don't know what their form like's at home. I don't know where they're picking up their points from, but they're certainly, they're a bit hit and miss, aren't they? And if you put them under a bit of pressure, they seem to crumble under it. So I'd like to see what Muslik's got planned. Hopefully, ruffle some more feathers, and hopefully, the long journey on Friday morning will be worth it.
What time are you setting up, Chris?
3:30. Good Friday morning. So
Wow.
I have to get up about 2:30 for that one. Is it worth going to bed? Maybe not, but it'd be worth going up there if we can get something out of it, that's for sure. Whittaker, moments player, said it all for the last 12 months. He's a moments player, and he's a player who's very lazy. And it all depends what sort of head he's got on, whether he plays well, puts a shift in, which is very unlikely. I'm happy he's in their team and not ours.
Yeah.
Well said. Right. Let's move on then. Look, we, as a neutral, when I was watching that game live, and I jumped out of my seat when that hit the back of the net. Don't tell the Sheffield United fans, but absolutely delighted at Plymouth, and I think every single fan of this championship, apart from those down there, wants you to do this. Before we move on, we're going to have to pick our player of the season, though. Now, you can help us with this by, in the comments below, putting the name and the reasons as to who you think should be awarded the player of the season. There's a few nominations, I suspect, here. Rhys, can we get yours first?
Yeah, I think, I can't believe I'm saying it, given what I thought of him last season, but I think Connor Hazard's been brilliant this season. I know we've shipped an awful lot of goals, but I don't think you can blame many of them. I think since he came back into the squad, since he came back from injury, the goals have got an awful lot better. He still doesn't command his box enough for a 6 foot whatever team player he is, but I think he's played well. I also think, and I know there's a lot of people who probably disagree, but I think Adam Randall is still being one of our more consistent players in a midfield that's genuinely struggled this year. He's sort of been on his own a lot of the time, and when he's got a few others playing next to him. So for me, it'd be between those two, and I'd probably sway towards Randall.
Okay, Randall gets 1 vote. Chris?
No, I totally agree with what Rhys is saying regarding Conor Hazard. Apart from his distribution, he can kick a ball, but his distribution is shocking. Really, he's got feet like threepenny bits. You don't know where it's going to end up, And there's a couple of other players that's in with a shout, but I would always go for the guy who's been fairly consistent all season, and he's took over from Captain Fantastic Joe Edwards, and he's been a decent captain for us. Is Adam Randall, local boy, born and bred, and he puts a shift in, and he tries to get everyone else doing the same.
Jaden?
Well, I'd say in the few games he did play, Nikola Katic would have been my one, but he obviously didn't play 50% of the time. So I'd go Conor Hazard in the whole of the season, and Grimshaw as well in the games he did play when he stepped in was really good as well. His distribution's much better than Conor Hazard. We know that. They're both great shot stoppers as well. It's always a big debate between whether who should start, but Conor Hazard has been the one for every manager really, and he's shown what he's capable of in an Argyle shirt, and he deserves to keep his place.
Yeah. We put a poll out on Twitter asking Plymouth fans to tell us who they blame for this season. This was after the Swansea result, actually, and I was surprised really that the over 48% of the vote went to Wayne Rooney. Rhys. Simon Hallett was there 43%. Given that Rooney's been gone for half the season, does that surprise you that the majority of the fan base put Where You're At still at his door?
I think it's an easy target, isn't it? It's a target of someone that's not in the club anymore, and you can sort of brush it under the carpet, which is sort of what the board do a lot. I think I even commented on the post. For me, you cannot blame Rooney. We all knew what his reputation was before he came into this club. All right, Derby, you can't take that into that was they were in administration. You can't take that into account. But Birmingham, he was shocking. He went on. It was over in America for a bit. They were awful. I still cannot understand the thinking behind the board. But then you've got money that went unspent. You've got they're prioritising other things that you need to look after your first team. And for me, the board and that essentially is your chairman. For me, Simon Hallett is to blame. I can't blame. You can't blame Muslik. I can't struggle to blame Rooney. There's got to be some blame on Jimmy Dickinson, but what was that? He's been put down that route by the sporting director. But for me, it all lands at Simon Hallett's door. And for me, if he just came out and went, "We got it wrong. Apologies. Let's rebuild for next season," which he sort of did the other week. But I think it needs to be bigger for the fans. For me, and I think he's tarnished his reputation slightly with the club because he's been well renowned for how good of an owner he's been, but it's slightly been tarnished this year.
Chris, do you agree?
Not necessarily, no. In one word, I would say recruitment. And that recruitment, for me, goes down to our ex-managing director, Neil Dewsnip. Not only has he got the players wrong he's got the last two managers that were wrong in Foster and in Wayne. He knew what was going on with Wayne behind the scenes issues because he had him as a young kid. They're both Scousers, and he knew exactly what he was getting when he got Wayne in. A lot of people forget when we got Wayne in, he played good football. We went and beat Sunderland, Luton, Blackburn, 3 on the trot, and he was okay. But he never had his hands on the target when it came to recruitment. That was down to Neil Dewsnip, and I think I counted 14 players we've signed since last summer. 2 of them have gone back as loanees, but that left 12. But out of 14, I know is all about opinions, but my opinion was I think only 5 of those were up to championship quality. So that means out of that 14, 9 were shocking recruitment. And that's where we've struggled all season. And I blame Neil Dewsnip.
Okay. Jaden?
I think all of them are to blame collectively. Obviously, Rooney is partly to blame for me, but we all knew that he was going to end up like being to blame. We knew we were potentially going to go down if we got Rooney. That was just a easy move because it's a low money move for the board. So they've just done it as sort of a cheap move, got him in, and see what happens. Hopefully we stay up. But that's on the board, isn't it? So all of it in the end comes down to Simon Hallett and the board. And obviously the recruitment was nowhere near good enough either, especially when you got Rooney as your manager. Just makes it even worse. So yeah, you're never going to succeed with those tools. So it comes down to everything, but in the end, it all goes down to Simon Hallett.
I don't think it's necessarily Simon Hallett. I think it's, but unfortunately, he's the board. He heads that board.
Yeah,
it's that board in general, and Neil Dewsnip was part of that board, who have got to take some ownership. They're the ones who set the budget. They're the ones who set the transfer, this data-driven way that they want to go, and they're all to blame. Every single one of those board members are not acting quick enough. Got to take it on their chin, and that they got it wrong.
Okay.
Well, the data-driven way that we've gone about things. Don't forget, we started that, don't you, Stephen Schumacher?
Well, yeah.
That's who started the data-driven.
Yeah.
And we carried it on.
Have you seen? I don't know if you've seen Neil Dewsnip's interview this week, but he has come out saying he didn't necessarily agree with the way that it was going. But you don't know how much is he trying to save face now because he's been sacked.
Yeah,
a
lot.
And there's a reason he's been sacked, which we're unaware of.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. Cheers for that discussion. Let's end on a light-hearted note, though. We're asking you now to pick the championship player of the season. Now, you're not allowed to give it to a Plymouth Argyle player. Not that you probably would anyway. We're asking you, you've been to 22 home games now. You only haven't seen Leeds at home. You've travelled the country. Chris, have you been to, how many away games have you missed this season, Chris?
No.
None? To all of them? Nearly all of them?
Yeah. I missed Burnley.
Right, missed. Yeah, just always a good one to miss, wasn't
it?
So, which player, when you've been sat there watching your team, have you tapped your mate next to you and gone, "Wow, I wish he played for Argyle"? Who has impressed you in a live match or from the comfort of your sofa? Jaden, kick this off for us.
There's quite a few. Gustavo Hammer, he's impressed me in both games. There's just bits of magic he comes up with. You're just like, wow, he should be in the Premier League. And he was. He was fantastic, wasn't he? Too good for the Championship by a mile. Scott Twine haunts us every single time he plays us. Absolutely hate that man. Honestly. And Victor Johansson, every time he plays us as well. Just turns into an absolute wall. Yeah, he's quality is. We should have signed him at the start of the season when we had the chance and he was free.
Yeah, he's had a few nominations already. Rhys?
I quite like Josh Sargent at Norwich. I never really understand how they've kept hold of him for as long as they have, but he always seems to score goals. He seems to be consistent season after season after season. He scored a really good goal with us last week, but he seems to be your sort of the modern day number 9.
Yep. Good shout, C's. Chris, wrap this up.
You may think I'm a little bit biased, but I'm going to go Finnazaz. I hope he has an absolute mare on Saturday, but that man is absolutely stunning, and he could do it in the Premiership. And I was not surprised actually, because when I checked him out, him along with the Coventry guy had the most assists all season for his team. I'm not surprised. No. Finn's for me, absolutely brilliant player. If only we'd had the gumption to go out and get him at 2 mil in the summer when we could have, but didn't. And it's come back to haunt us. If he was here now, we wouldn't be in the position we are.
Yeah.
Right. Good luck against Middlesbrough. Good luck against Coventry. By the time we see you again, we will know, so guessing one way or another, which way this is going to land. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll keep everything crossed for the Argyle and this big bumper Easter weekend. Have a good one yourselves. Happy Easter. We'll see you in 7 days' time to review it all. Let's hope there's no tears. See you then.